Yeah, I'm early today, so I'm going to play a bit before we begin. So that's why I'm not talking with you guys right now. I need to focus. Yeah, I'm early today, so I'm going to play. It seems to me that white should be in big trouble here, but how should I get advantage? Uh, Maybe the easiest is to take, and yeah, maybe he has some intermediate move here. Yeah. No, this is I think bad. I guess Queen D3 should be very strong. Rook D1. I guess Rook B1 just finishes him off. Is there a defense to Rook B1? I don't see one. I mean, Queen into F3 is also not a bad move to make, but just that Rook B1 is just more solid. Queen B3 is a very interesting way to defend the position. But then I have a Queen A4, but then C3 is hanging. Uh, Also, if I play Rook D8, Queen H4, check, G5, Queen H6, King E7, Queen G5. Okay, doesn't look so good. Let's take this pawn. Maybe he starts to run. Yeah, time is always an issue. let's take king e2, check. Okay, check. At least I can just take this guy and take this guy. This should be simple. G5, rook c8. Okay, but now I just take another pawn. 3 pawns is usually enough to win. At some point we should do something where I can play you guys, yeah, online. That would be interesting. But the main aim is to learn how to improve. Okay, let's take the f3 pawn as well if he gives us. Okay, h5. H4. Oops, what? I lost on time. Come on. This is the funniest thing that could ever happen. I thought I already won. Well, guys, so this is kind of a big lesson that it's never over until it's over. Uh, okay, anyway, so the most important thing always remember, I just forgot about the time. I was remembering the time when I was playing fast when I saw I had 5 seconds, but then at some point I just forgot that I had so little time. So okay, let's close this. And by the way, welcome everyone to the show. And today it's day 9. So we've been together for 8 days. Wonderful. What I would like to first of all do before we go ahead is to see this game. As I've always said, if you look at your games, it's sure to help you get some ideas. Okay, so this was my game right now that I played, and I played the Karokan d5, ed cd, c4, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, bg4, and this is a very concrete line that leads to, and my opponent was pretty good. Knight d5. By the way, I must tell you one thing, that for all the people who play on chess.com, Lee Chess, and many other platforms, there are many good platforms out there. I have found that the although there are less players sometimes on play chess, but the rating is very low. So if your rating is say something around 2000 or 2100 on Lee Chess or chess.com or somewhere else, then maybe on play chess it would be 1800 or 1900. That's the difference. So here even 1800 players are pretty good. Like here, queen b3, and this is all well known theory. It might seem for someone who's watching this for the first time, this opening, that oh my god, look at the king on e7, but if you just click on reference, you will see that there are nearly 1500 games already played. So here the main move actually has been queen d7, that has been played. But I think I had analyzed at some point that black can take and play rook b8. And here it's very how can I say, natural to give this check, which my opponent did, which was a complete blunder. So I mean, I think it's a bad move. Uh, well, the main move is Queen C5, King E8, and if I'm not mistaken, I already had played one game. So this is my database of annotated games here, and if I were to search this, yeah, Joshua AP. So this was already my game that I had played in 2012, where my opponent went Queen C5, King E8, Queen A7. So this is how that game had gone. Maybe I can uh, copy it to my game here, so there is a reference now. Okay, so let's understand from the imbalance point of view what's happening here. Okay, let's try to see if you guys can help me with the imbalances, what's happening in this position. Okay, I have not interacted with you personally, but hi to everyone who's there. uh, Wonderful to see you guys. So let's see if someone, because look at the number of imbalances here, it's huge. Okay, there are many interesting things happening here in this position. So let me know, what do you think? Vishal Kumar says you missed a win. Yeah, I think I missed a win, but I want to find. Okay, there are many imbalances. Black has bought better pawn structure, says New Patel. Good one. White has bad pawn structure. Definitely. Look at these pawns. So you can imagine any endgame. So if I were to remove, for example, let's say I put this here and I come to this position, and if I were to remove, say, the queens of the board, you can already say, oops, I removed a bishop as well, uh, for white, which I shouldn't. You can already say that this position is clearly better for black, because the the pawn structure is horrible. Okay, what else? Let me go back. In my mind, many times I do this. I remove pieces from the board just so that I know what to aim for in a game. uh, how to work on any book? Okay, no, we'll work on that later. First of all, black has an open b file. Yes, that's right. This was said by Tinku Saha. Creative master Shikhar says pawn structure open files, but yes, a little bit more specific. White has isolated pawns and double pawns. Chitrakala Khadka, yes. King is not castling from now. Reshma Dulgaj. Whose king is safer? That's the question. Saurabh Banerjee says doubled pawns and isolated pawns for white. That's one of the biggest imbalances. Minor pieces equal, says Tehen. Pawn structure, black better. Black has control over b file and white has the initiative. Yes, possibly white has the initiative. Also, very important factor in this position is the king safety. Whose king is more safe? Right now you don't know, but if white can castle, his king would become relatively safe on g1, then on e1. So in this position, Reshu Jain says black has an open file. Black king is not safe. Black's lead in development. White has doubled pawns. White has an open file. Which open file? So when you do this entire thing, let's go step by step. Minor pieces. It seems to me that right now white's minor piece is pretty good. Black's minor piece is pretty hemmed in. but it's just temporary. Then we go to pawn structure, where we have clearly assessed that black's pawn structure is better than white's. This is just horror for white. Then the third one is space. I think space doesn't matter here so much. Both sides have relatively even space because also pieces on the board are a little less. Then we move to material. Right now the material is even. Fifth point, if you remember, is weak squares, open files. Yeah, open files, weak squares. So many of you do talk about open files but forget about weak squares. Now, one open file is D file, a B file. D file is also an open file. This is a semi-open file for white. This is a semi-open file for white, and this is a semi-open file for black. So there are several open files on the board, but definitely black has put his rook nicely. Also the queen is well positioned. Okay, now we go to initiative. I think white has the initiative may not be the correct thing to say. It's still unclear who has the initiative. I have created a threat on the queen, so if the queen moves, I can move my king. And by the way, this is my game with Joshua from 2012 national championship under 25, and I had gone on to win that game pretty quickly. Uh, but in the game, he played bishop a3, which was, I think, a poor move. This I feel is a question mark move. King f6, queen a4, and I took, and I played queen d3. And here it seems like the tables have completely turned. First of all, king becomes more weak, and now I am threatening all sorts of things like queen into f3, rook b1 check, rook d8. So white is struggling here. He played rook d1. I think this was a strong move. I have nothing else. Basically, I didn't want to take on f3 and allow him to castle. Uh, when I'm not sure if I'm better anymore. Perhaps I am, but anyway, I didn't want to do this. So rook b1 is good. He cannot take because after queen b1 you lose the rook. So he played the move queen a4, and yeah, I didn't have enough time to actually assess this move, because if this works, it's game over. But the problem I had with this move was queen h4 check. I don't know if I can get rid of the checks here. For example, uh, how can I continue? G5 is what I thought in the game, and then he gives queen check here. And now where should I go? Because king e7 is met with queen g5, but perhaps here I have an improvement. I was thinking of king e8 up, and then queen g8, and yeah, but maybe I can go king d7 here, or does it work? What happens to king d7? Is it such a stupid move? Yeah, maybe he has queen d2 here. Ah, there is also, oh my god, what a move. Yeah, can you find a move for white here, this position, white to move? Yeah, Honi Aurora, how to copy your play chess game to chess base? First of all, you can do just control C, control V. That's one way. But whenever you play a game, if you use the same ID in your play chess and also on your chess base, you know, you have a login button here at the top. If you use the same, it will automatically get updated in your cloud database. That's the biggest advantage. uh, yeah, king d7 I thought, but there is this good move here. Yeah, very good. Who found this? Your passion, the first one to find it. Ilam Parthi, very good. Reshma Dulgaj, Tharun M, Halder Yasmin, Sumed Ramteke. Yeah, exactly. Queen b5 check would have been a nice move. And then if you take, and I think black no longer is better. So how exactly am I winning here? Because after queen g5, I don't see it. King e8, check. And frankly speaking, if king d7 is the right move, maybe it was just too tough for me. Queen into f7, uh, and maybe it is. Maybe it's the right way to play. But like, where to go? King c8, king c6, maybe king c8, king c6. I don't know. Queen e6, check, and now perhaps king b8, and then king a8, like here, and then check and king a8. Maybe it's just fine. Yeah, I win. So maybe this is a winning line. If I would have seen this during the game, I am not sure, but yeah, yeah. Uh, Shanks, yeah, this Ishir Narayan, as he said, um, well, in general, if I had seen this entire line starting with check, g5, king e7, I saw till king e8, queen g8, and I saw no way forward, but I had to give up f7, I had to give up e6, and I had to run to the other side, and now there's no way out for white. Wonderful. So that's interesting actually. And maybe take uh, yeah, take king e2. I don't even need to take that rook because it's a checkmate here. Okay, so that's how it works. uh, Now let's so this was an interesting game that uh, happened. I played check here and king e2, and then I took queen e5, and okay, I felt like this is a winning end game. Yeah, it's just I'm just better because I'm pawn up, so this is a fine way. I would also call this winning, but of course I should have gone for the other line. So let's just have a look at our analysis once to make sure that we got everything correct. I really like to first analyze it well. I'm taking less time here, but then I pass it through the engine. By the way, the best move is queen c5 here, but okay, he checked. This is already winning. King f6, queen a4, take. By the way, if he goes rook d1, which was a move I was a bit afraid of, I come back pd6. And if he gives me a check here, g5, queen h6, and even king e7, this is just winning. Yeah, I am a piece up. So he must take, and now queen d3, rook d1, and queen into f3 is a better move according to the engine. I thought castles, but maybe here, like we always know, the rook can join in. So perhaps this was much better. Okay, rook b1 was not bad. Queen a4, rook d8. I took here, which is the second best move, but rook d8, and now check. By the way, queen f4, I can just go king e7, and this seems okay. I mean, now there are no checks. The real worry was queen h4, g5, check, king e7, check, king e8. Oops, not here. King e8, queen g8, king d7, check, here takes here. Oh my god, yeah, that was the way to win. I had to run my king all the way to that side. I missed queen e4. No, no, not really. I didn't miss queen e4. I saw queen e4 was coming, but I thought, well, this is just a trivial end game. When you're two pawns up, it's good. It's like being a queen up, sort of, in an end game. Here, it should not be difficult. Okay, so guys, that was again a small demonstration of how every game you play anywhere, please give it the seriousness it deserves, analyze it. For example, if you are playing an online event, after it spend some time to analyze it. Look, this analysis makes my understanding of this line so much better. I think even Carlson would not know that actually this is winning here if you have to run your king all the way to that side. This is because I'm analyzing my game, and this is very important. Of course, maybe Carlson will figure it out on the board, but he doesn't know it just as yet. Okay, let me put the names of Sagar plus YouTube. Well, Rajwinder, if you play queen, king f5, queen into h7, and you lose the queen. Okay. Now, one question is someone's asking which engine to use while analyzing, and I think online engines are usually not very strong, but they are decent. I prefer using Stockfish and Fat Fritz, sometimes Leela, sometimes Komodo. So I keep changing. I have all these engines here, and I try to use them in. But I think Stockfish being free is a pretty good engine that you can have a look at. So one small thing, by the way, this stream over here is all the money that you contribute via super chat or through the link in the description. There's a pay you money link, goes to PM Cares Fund. uh, and you will see yesterday we had an amazing day where we raised close to 13,000 rupees, which is almost equal to the first 6 days. So thanks a lot to everyone who contributed. Right now the total amount which we have raised is 26,000 rupees. I just would like to show all of you that all that you are, if you go to fightcovid19.chessbase.in, all the details of where the money is received, who has paid for it, are all properly mentioned here. So the money is being properly accounted for. We hope that in the next days, when we are live and doing this, we'll be able to raise more funds. Okay, so are you ready for today's session? Okay. uh, so let's okay. One second. Let me just see one thing which just caught my attention right now is what someone said is queen e4. Yeah, no, I played rook b2. Sorry. I was thinking if I could exchange all the rooks and win. Okay, anyway, so this is what happens in the minds of chess players. They're always thinking about chess, and sometimes even while they're talking, they're thinking of some other position. Okay. Uh, Very interesting also to mention is yesterday we published an article, by the way, today on Vishy Anand, who's speaking about him being locked down in Germany. He is in Germany right now, can't come back to India. It's been over a month, and he talks about his experience over there. And yes, Adiban is going to make a debut in Big Boss. I'll leave it up to you to make decide what you make of that news. But yeah. Okay, everyone saying please, sir, but what? K Dexter says, but don't donate via YouTube chat since Google gets 30%. Donate via PayUmoney. Yeah, I just want to make sure that if you donate via YouTube chat, and YouTube keeps 30%, that amount of 30% will be contributed by me personally. So for example, if you contribute 100 rupees, YouTube keeps 30, 70 goes to us, then I put in the remaining 30 so that it becomes 100. So don't worry about that. By the way, big thanks to Virendra who's contributed 20 rupees, the first contribution of today. This is wonderful. Shivan says, I don't like he's going to Big Boss. Okay. Dandapani Kuppuswamy, thank you so much for contributing 100 rupees. This is really nice of you to contribute. Okay, so let's go to today's session. And if you all remember, there was something that we were going to discuss today. Please tell me if you remember what we discussed yesterday and what are we going to do today. Okay, so everyone here who is trying to ask me all questions like Shantanu Patak saying London system, Akshit Bhatia saying Gingy Indian, and okay, Gingy Indian is at least on the subject, but Himanshu Mishra says Adiban will be the first one in the show to have a full working brain. Okay, Anushka Joshi says, thank you, sir, for rich inputs in chess from Anushka and Dhruv Joshi. Thank you, Anushka. That's very nice. You contributed 200. Harshal Patil says, of course, it's April Fool. Well, Harshal. Kushal Jani says, Big Boss News is April Fool. Okay, so Ilam Parthi is very focused here. He says, yesterday we learned backward pawns, and today Rajesh Verma says isolated pawns today. Yes, we are going to work on isolated pawns. We worked on backward pawns yesterday. I hope you remember the line which I had mentioned where you can play uh, knight f6, g6, bg7, c5, cd4, ed4, d5. Then you take on c4, knight c6, knight a5, bishop e6, and all of that stuff. Just all those who have not seen it, go to yesterday's stream and have a look at it. Okay. Setu Minocha says, really looking forward to Beast being on Big Boss. He's going to kill it. Well, wait for the news today as well. As someone rightly pointed out, that could be a prank. So, okay, so let's look at isolated pawns. By the way, I made a small summary here that we have learned about doubled pawns. First, doubled pawns, if fixed, can become a weakness. Doubled pawns give you additional open lines. I think you remember from our seventh session about doubled pawns. Yesterday, we spoke about backward pawns, which was backward pawns are the ones which are behind its neighboring pawns and have no one to defend it. The fourth point is the square in front of the backward pawn usually becomes a weakness. And now today we begin with the isolated pawn, so I don't want to come here right now. We'll check these lines later. Yeah, as Jaideep Chakrabarti rightly says, today we will learn about the pawn having coronavirus. Why does he say so? Because we are all isolated right now. By the way, the most common form of isolated pawn is the D pawn, and this structure is the most common, as you will see here that I'm going to put up. This is the most common structure you will get from various openings, and this is where white has a pawn on one file, and on the adjoining two files there are no pawns. So it's an isolated pawn, just like all of us right now who are isolated at home, self isolation. This is the same way that isolated pawn works in chess. By the way, Frode Johnson says, I am from Norway. What's this course? Well, Frode, we are working on imbalances method by Silman, And this is where, I'm trying to give you some ideas where you can think better. Actually, isolated pawns would be corona free, says Mayur Gondalekar. Okay, so the thing is, when you have an isolated pawn, it's clear that it's a weakness. For example, this pawn, if attacked by a knight, cannot be defended by a pawn from here or here, because there are no pawns around it, so it's alone. Okay, at the same time, being alone gives its own sort of advantages. The biggest advantage being that white can always push forward d5 and exchange this pawn without affecting his pawn structure. Now, when he pushes this forward, and let's say these pawns are exchanged, I want to remove this from the board somehow, but I don't know how to. Okay, I removed it. Good. So, so this position looks completely symmetrical. But the point is that when you get such a position, if white's knight from c3 went to d5, it becomes a very active piece. And when the pawn structure is symmetrical, activity is the key. So in an isolated queen pawn position, activity counts for everything here if he's able to play d5. Okay. Now the other thing which you must remember is the isolated queen pawn. If a knight can sit on d5 over here, that's a beautiful spot for the knight. It's a great blockade. So for example, let me put a few pieces up, say a knight here and a bishop here. This would be a horror for white, because the knight will jump to d5, it will be super strong, black will be a bad bishop. uh, and so you must be careful. Now let me say in this position I add another pair of pieces. Okay, bishop on d3, bishop on c8. Now you will suddenly see white's position starts looking a little bit better, because the bishop is active, this bishop is slightly passive. Now let me put a pair of knights on the board. Okay, like this, and you will see that white knight over here is defending, black knight is attacking, but already white could at some point jump to e5, which might be a good square for his knight. Now I'm going to put another couple of pieces on the board, and now you suddenly start understanding that white actually has a lot of space for his pieces, while black looks slightly cramped. Okay, now the next idea is to actually put the queens in and the king in and come to this position, and then finally we can say we'll put in the rooks. Okay, and here you will see that the isolated pawn is no longer so important. There are so many other imbalances, like the activity of white pieces, the black pieces being slightly passive, more space for white basically here, and all of that. So you understand what is it that you need to do when you're playing with an isolated pawn. You must keep the pieces on the board. When you are playing against an isolated pawn, the first thing is to exchange pieces. Okay, so this is how you have to uh, basically understand these structures. So let me first begin with one game that made a big impression on me. It's yeah, let's get this game going here. And yeah, okay, so nf3 was played by white. Black played nf6, c4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, e3, e6, d4, d5, cd, knight d5, bd3, cd, ed. And now you will see we've reached the position which we were discussing, isolated pawn on d4. Yeah, and black has nicely blockaded himself here, but you have to see, because as I mentioned, every exchange is beneficial for black, but if he exchanges here, then he actually white stops having isolated pawns, and now he has some kind of a connected pawns. c3 is a backward pawn, but to blockade on c4 is not easy yet because I don't have a bishop here. Okay, so by the way, a big thanks to Amog Bist who is here. I think if I am not mistaken, then Amog is none other than uh, national champion of India. So if you just Google search Amog Bist chess base India, you will see that here is Amog. He is under 7 national champion of 2018. Just to show you his picture here. Yeah, this is the young boy, Amog here. So good, Amog. Good to see you here, and I hope that you are practicing chess in right now this period of self isolation. Okay, so coming back to chess now, he could not exchange, so he played bishop e7. I mean, exchanging is okay, but it changes the pawn structure. So bishop e7, white castled, black castled, and now let's find a useful move for white. Who can find me a useful move here for white? Please let me know in the comment section. Reshma Dulgaj says, I love your chess videos. Thank you so much, Reshma, for contributing 40 rupees. Wonderful, very nice. Alan Thomas says, I've played only 2 tournaments in a life. I have beaten many higher rated players. I usually play London. How to improve my calculation? Well, Alan, stay tuned. We are going to work on calculations as we come closer to the 21-day mark. Jyotisko Sen Gupta, I think we have replied to you on your email. You have written to us at chessbaseindia at gmail. So please have a look at your mail. Okay, so the move suggestions come. Geeta Muthu says Queen e2. Very interesting, Geeta. Then Helder Yasmin says Bishop e3. Okay. Tiny Bboss says Rook e8. Okay, Tiny, you cannot play 2 moves for black. Soumya Mahesh says Knight e5. Okay. Mithran Pradeep says Bishop e3. Rajesh Verma says Rook e1. Dandapani Kuppuswamy says, okay, I removed the arrows. Knight e5 says Knight d5. Bishop e3 was another move. Queen c2 says Chanchal Jha. Okay, let me make these moves. Rook e1, Knight e5, Bishop e3, Queen c2. Am I missing something? Knight d5. Okay, very interesting. Yeah. A3 says Tiny B Boss. Anish Adiga knight d5, Sumed Ramteke knight e5, Niranjan Warrior, knight a4. Okay, so you see, we still have. I want to see how many different moves. Queen b3 says K Dexter. Okay, what else? What else? BD2 Pradyumna Kanukolu. Okay, any more new kind of moves? This is interesting. I never thought there could be so many possibilities in a position. Yeah, now the moves are repeating, so I think we have kind of exhausted all the possibilities. Maybe no one's going to tell me king h1 or rook b1. Thank God for that. Okay, good. So now, okay, knight e4 is another move suggested. Remember, some of the moves here are fine, some are just plain wrong. Okay, so which ones are not correct? First of all, queen c2 is absolutely I'm not sure if this works. You have to analyze it better, but I think that after a move like knight b4, bishop h7, king h8, queen is hanging, so you need to move the king, queen b1, g6, bishop is trapped, bg6, fg6, queen g6. It's true that you have won 3 pawns here, but I have a feeling that black is doing okay here in this position. And I could even have played the other knight to b4 here. So we should look at this position more closely, but queen c2 I think may be a little bit premature. That's why a3 definitely comes into consideration, because you want to put the queen here. Not at all bad move. I think it comes under a decent move, a3. uh, Bishop e3 I would say is just very very natural, but doesn't fit into the demands of this position. So all those who said bishop e3, please keep in mind that when you have an isolated queen pawn, the first thing you must do is play actively, okay? And this bishop move is passive. It's just defending the pawn. I won't say it's a bad move or a losing move, but I just feel it's not the correct move. Right now, the bishop on c1 need not be developed for now, because you don't know whether it wants to go here, 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 or here. Okay, those two places on f4 and g5 just lose a piece right now. So what are the other options? Queen e2, definitely a possibility. I wouldn't discount it. Not a bad move. Knight e5. I feel this doesn't really fit in, because as a player with an isolated pawn, you shouldn't be exchanging pieces. I see your threat that if I take on d4, you want to take on h7, king h7, and take on d4 when position is interesting. But let's imagine I take on e5, de, knight c3, bc3. Then you know what has happened is I have actually somehow ruined the structure. These are some weak pawns, and at the same time I exchanged two pairs of pieces. So maybe the attacking chance in this position is also reduced, and I have exchanged a bit too much. So I don't like 95 so much. What about anything else? BD2 again doesn't suit. So I think the most useful move here, which doesn't really commit anything like my bishop or something, but also makes a useful improvement in the position, is rook e1. All those who said rook e1 is well done. Excellent job. Okay, now, yeah, rook e1 is a very active move, because you put your rook on a half open file, because that's where rooks belong. And yeah, knight d5 again, not a good move, because after queen d5 you just exchanged one pair of piece for no reason. I mean, why would you do that? So rook e1, now he went knight f6, because for black to make a move is also not easy. For example, if he plays b6, then you will already see that this guy is shaky. And now your plan with knight d5 works just fine, because after queen c2, you have the powerful move bishop e4. And you will see there are problems here. Queen d7, knight e5, and you're winning. So, and if he has to take with the pawn, always remember this works out really well for you, because in this position white has more active pieces. Whenever it's a position of symmetrical structure, activity is the most important thing. Okay, and this pawn being on b6 is just hampering black. If it were on b7, at least it's pretty decent, but here is just better. Also, I would say a move like bishop h7 should be considered here, because take queen c2 and you win a pawn. So that's also, or directly queen c2 as well, but then knight b4. So okay, you can take and play queen c2. Now rook e1, he went knight f6 back. And then now how do you play actively? I want you guys to be active. Okay, don't play passive moves. Don't tell me moves like bishop e3, bishop d2, something like this, play active. What does white play? Omkar Chakradev says IQP should always be weak. By the way, there was one famous saying, I think it was Tarash, who said, if someone cannot play with an IQP, that's an isolated queen pawn, then he must give up chess. Okay, so keep in mind, if you can't play with an IQP, you are missing something in your chess. Yes, it's a weakness, but learn to live with it. If suppose you are how do I say it, suppose you are bad at running, yeah, then you don't really always think, oh, I'm bad at running, but you actually make use of your other talents, like say playing chess or drawing or singing and so on. So same way, if d4 is a weakness, look at the advantages. Free open diagonals for your bishops. So beautiful. Knights on beautiful spots. Opponent has some cramped position. So remember this. Sayan Roy, good job. Bishop g5. Stehen, bishop g5. Haider Ramnath Preet says bishop f4. Not a bad move here, bishop f4. But bg5. Hema Logu. Uh, Tejas Joshi, Pankaj Panchal. Good job, guys. You all have been saying BG5. Also say to Minocha, Aditya Gampa. Aditya, are you Aditya Varun Gampa, who is also a very strong player? If you are him, let me know. But welcome. Uh, Shriyana Malya says Bishop F4. I would say bishop f4 is also pretty okay, but bg5 is just more active, because when you put your bishop here, it's putting a bit of pressure, and you will see in many positions it leads to some kind of a tactical opportunities, as we will see. Also, I don't want to reveal right now, but we'll come to it. Now, one person here wrote, why should black move his knight? Why not rook e8 so that this bishop cannot develop? You are right. This is a possibility, but I will still play a3. And I have more improving moves in my position. For example, if you make another some kind of a waiting move, then I will play bishop c2. You still wait, I will play queen d3. You see, I am improving my position while you are just wasting time, and if you waste another move, then you'll get checkmate. Okay, just joking. But you see, white has more opportunities to improve his position than black. So black goes knight f6 with the hope that he can play b6, bb7 at some point. Now bg5, he went knight to b4. This is a good move. He wants to control the d5 square, and so bishop b1. Now he played b6. Okay, he wants to develop the bishop, and here came the move knight to e5. You will see how this square was left by the knight on c6. It jumped here, so white knight jumped to e5. It's like a dance. Yeah, bishop b7. And now I want all of you to use all your creativity, creative energy, and tell me, how should white play? You will see he's got a good piece here, a good piece here, a very nice bishop looking at h7. Everything looks great, but it's time to now improve further. What do you do? What do you do here? Okay, Aditya says, yes, sir, thank you. By the way, Aditya Gampa, I would say, is a very strong player. He is from Andhra Pradesh, if I'm not wrong, and very talented boy. Chess with Lalit says, right away I can tell that I control more space with such an advance, and I also force my opponent's light squared bishop to retreat. Okay, I don't know which position. Stehen has got it right, very good. Shanks as well, Ilam Parthi, Tinku Saha, Haider Yasmin, Prathamesh Divekar, well done. Shanks, excellent. Rishila Banerjee has got it right. Sumana Banerjee, Hai Yuen Gok, Sanchit S. All of these people have got it right. Well done. Yeah, I mean, look, you want to somehow mount an attack here. A3 looks the most natural, shouldn't be bad. But while the knight is not on d5, we have an opportunity, a very powerful opportunity, and it's known as a rook lift. You put your rook on e3 and you're going to swing it across to h3. It's going to be very powerful in the attack. So all those who found this rook lift, well done guys, you are strong players. G6 was played. If H6, you can almost without even thinking take this pawn, because you have one, two, three, and the fourth one joining in. It should be a mate. Don't take it without thinking. I'm just saying that it's so natural. King h8, queen d2, threatening a mate here. He must go knight g8. I take, check, not a check, threatening a checkmate on h7, f5, take here, check, check, bishop f5, and this is winning. I have what, 4 pawns for a piece and still a deadly attack with knight f7 or knight g6. Okay, so g6 was played and white said, okay, I'll bring my rook in. Now rook c8 was played and white played, this is always a good move, bishop h6, rook e8, a3. I push your knight back, and now white to move. Come on, finish off your opponent. How should you finish off your opponent? Chess informant says, can you do a video in Marathi? My English is not good. Okay, आम्ही chess based Marathi सुरू करायचा विचारात आहे, so hopefully that will happen. Gargi DC says, I also said rook e3. Well, Gargi, how is your health now? I hope it's better. Agastya say Agastya Day says, I often find moves but you never read them. Sorry Agastya. By the way, I think Agastya is 10-year-old or 9 years old, and he yesterday contributed to the stream. This was really nice, Agastya. Vedant Anirudh Kulkarni has contributed 100 rupees. He says, I love your videos. They are instructive. You make learning fun. Thank you so much, Vedant. Say to Minocha, what's your answer? Shanks, knight g6, Chanchalja, knight g6. Yeah. Well, it's time to cash in. All of you, Tinku Saha, Tiny B Boss, Kavita Naidu, Soham Shirode, Gargi DC, Chanchal Jha, Sairam Sampath, Prathamesh Divekar, Akash Pranav, Haidar Yasmin. Well done, guys. Knight into g6. But as I always mentioned, don't give me just one move. I will of course take this. Now what do you do next? Yes, as Prathamesh Divekar rightly said, NG6, HG6, BG6. Okay, Ishir Narayanan went a step further and said NG6, FG6, BG6, HG6, Queen D3. Okay, Ishir, there is a small problem in what you just mentioned. Try to think what it is. P. Nair said, I often find moves but you don't read it. Well, I'm sorry for that, but if you have found them, it's good. Okay, I can't read 290 people sometimes typing. It's a little bit difficult, so please bear with me. I somehow like knight g6 better than bg6. Okay, now all of you, bg6, good move, and now fg6, and now it's time to play the most accurate move. See, you want to take rook g6, that's the first move that comes to your mind. But after king h7, it's not so easy to continue, the attack. It's possible, but there is a much powerful move here. What do you do? White to move, and Jayesh Shah, I think it's Jeet Shah who says, who's got the right move. Well done, Jeet. Aditya Gampa says d5, but why do you need d5? I mean, just checkmate him right now. Now's the time to mate him. Ilam Parthi gets the right move. Well done, Ilam Parthi. It's a good job. Akshit says you don't read my answers, but thank you for your lessons. Okay, Akshit, I'll make sure that I'll read if you give a right answer next time. Yeah, Neve got it right. Arun Dikshit has got it right. Well done. Um, anyone else? Anish Adiga has got it right. Saurav Banerjee as well. Good job, Sayan Roy. Yes, the point is now you want to get the queen to attack this pawn. So you have three options: queen d3, queen c2, queen b1, and this is quite deep because if you play queen d3, knight e5 is a good move which attacks the queen and also defends, and I can't take the knight because queen is hanging. Okay, and it gets exchanged. So queen c2 is another possibility, but once again knight e5, d e5, and bishop e4. And you will see that this knight cannot take the bishop because of rook attacking the queen. And that's the reason why the right move is queen b1. It would seem very silly when someone makes a move like this, but there's always some deep idea behind it. Knight e5, and now there can be no piece coming to e4. He played it anyway, but now here check, check, and a mate. So that's a mate, and that's game over. So I hope that you understood the advantages of isolated pawn. I'm going to show you very quickly one of my own games, and this was a game which I played against Kuartas Jamie Alexander, and I think this is one of my fastest wins against a GM. So yeah. So let's get rolling quickly. Knight f3, d5, d4. And you know, my opponent played this move. And here I was thinking, what should I do? And I remembered that Lalit Babu, who's a who's a strong player, who's a strong GM from India, had suggested to me a move here which was bishop g5. And he said that, hey, look, not always do you have to develop your knight to c3. You can also put it on d2. Okay, so I said to him, yeah, well, that's a possibility. And then in the next tournament when I went, I hadn't analyzed it so deeply, but I said, let me anyway develop my bishop. So bishop g5, c6, knight d2, knight d7, e3, bishop e7, bd3, castles, castles, c5. And I played knight e5, he took, and I took. And you will see the same structure, a little bit of a difference. I have an isolated pawn, he has these nice pieces. By the way, my opponent is a 2480 GM, and he played the move knight d5 here. Now, usually in such positions, you could exchange the bishops. It's quite fine. But I said, I want to retain my bishop for now, and I played it back to e3. This is, in some ways, a little passive. In some ways, it is a little passive, but it is also retaining more pieces on the board. Okay, knight f6. And now I want you to think of ways in which you can start building up an attack. Okay, how do you begin by getting your pieces into the attack? What do you do? Himanshu Mishra says, I get confused as to when to play NBD2 or NC3. Usually NC3 is good, sometimes NBD2. Yeah, he can take here with the knight, but maybe after fe3, I have my rook opened up, and this is what I am happy with this. And my pawn is no longer isolated. My remaining pieces are pretty good, so I thought, well, it's worth a try. He played knight f6. What do you do? Tiny B Boss, Tarun M, Advait Desai, good job. job. Namita Chede, Haidar Yasmin, Nilay Kulkarni, Samir Unadkat, Aditya Gampa, Niranjan Varyar, all of you have got Ilam Parthi as well. I'm going to read a few more so that you don't tell me I miss out. Hema Logu, Reshu Jain. Good job, guys. You gave the right answer. Akshit Bhatia as well. Uh, Siddhant Vashisht. The plan is to get the queen into the attack and queen f3. And where will the queen be best placed? On h3. Looking here. So my opponent played bd7. I played rook a c1. Maybe it was possible to play queen h3, but I was a bit afraid of knight b4, bishop b1, and there's no mate yet on h7, so bishop b5, and somehow these pieces are all blocked in. So I thought, why not first get my rook into the game, and then if he attacks my bishop, I can go back in, and this guy doesn't get trapped on a1. So rook c8, now queen h3, and g6 was played. I think my opponent was a little bit nervous that day, so he made this move. The best move would have been bishop c6, and I don't see like the attack breaking through. It's an interesting position that can be played. g6. Now, how do you play and how do you make your opponent's life difficult? What do you do? I want someone to calculate deeply. Okay, here, don't give me just one move. Try to uh, think deeper. Akshit says, did you upload yesterday's analysis on Chessbase India website? Not yet, not yet. Maybe today with both or tomorrow. Yesterday I was busy writing the April Fool's article. I shouldn't have said. Okay, Bishop h6. Everyone's move is just one move. Please try to think a little bit deeper. After bishop h6, your opponent is not going to give up the rook, so he will naturally play rook e8. Then what next? What will you do next? Jayesh Shah says bishop h6, rook e8, knight f7. Good improvement, but still not enough. He's not going to leave your knight just like that. He will take it. What next? Sarvanan says, my son says bishop h6. Well, to all the guys who know Sarvanan, he's the man who is the book expert, and his son is watching the stream right now, and he says bishop h6. That's the right move, but think further. Think further. After bishop h6, rook e8. What do you do next? What's your next move? Come on, think. So we have someone who's giving more lines. Bishop h6, rook e8. Aditya Gampa says knight f7, king f7, knight e5, king g8, ng6, hg6, queen g3 winning. Okay, interesting stuff, Aditya. You can see how strong players think. Yeah, they think many moves ahead. So guys, all of you here who think one move, try to think more. Also Ilam Parthi, good job. Shreyana Malya has got that right. So the right way to do it is first attack the rook, make it move, and now you sacrifice a knight on f7. King f7, and now you put your knight on e5. And now king g8, and this is the position where you have to think a bit. And I thought for a long time here, but it's just natural. Such positions you have to sack. So you don't even think too much, but somehow I like to look at things until the end, and I was not able to find all the little things. but in the end I managed to do that. So what do you do here now? How do you finish him off? Jaideep Chakrabarti says, thank you, Sagar. Is it time for another video looking at IM Sarvanan's chess book library? Rolling Pawn article is coming soon. Okay, Jaideep, Sarvanan is here. Maybe we can set up a date right now. Sarvanan, please, if it's possible, everyone's asking when is part three coming. Uh, as soon as the corona things dies down, we can do it. Yeah. Okay, so very good. All those who said bishop g6, this is exactly what I played. And yes, I had seen that I will attack this pawn and I will checkmate him. There is no way to defend g6 and it's game over. But he played bishop f8. And here I am sorry to say I was not alert. I didn't play it well, and I want you to do better than me. So please find the way in which white can finish off the game quickly. I did win the game easily as well, but there is a very quick way to win here. Who can do it? It's basically all the people who told me I'm very bad at calculation. How should I improve my calculation? And all of these questions. Then please work on your calculations here now, right itself. It's a good idea to start implementing good things in your life. Okay, so start calculating now. Okay, Setu, you are still thinking about the last position, perhaps? Yeah, or now? Bishop f6, bishop f6, queen h5. Yes, but it seems like a draw. Like instead of rook king h8 move, I think bg7 would be better in your variation. Bishop f7 is what I played. Guys, try to be better than me. Ilam Parthi is better than me. Yeah, good job, Ilam Parthi. Tharun M. Yes, well done, Tharun. You have done it right. Soham Shirode. But give me more moves, yeah. Give me more moves. And also Ilam Parthi, you consider only one line that he'll take with the knight. What if he takes with something else? He can take with the bishop as well. Sorry, the king as well. Come on, think of the lines. Preet Matre says a nice variation, which is bishop f7, king h8, bishop f8, king rook f8, knight g6, mate. No, king comes up to g7. Don't forget, you gave up the bishop. So I played bishop f7 in the game. Let me show you how it finished. He played king h8. I took on e8 because if he takes with the bishop, I take bishop f8 free piece. If he takes with the knight, knight f7 loses the queen. So he took with the queen. And here I had seen bishop f8. The point is if queen f8, then knight g6 wins the queen. And so I'm already an exchange up with two pawns up, and it was really not difficult. He resigned here. But I think if you want to improve your calculation, you must look at the move bishop into h7. Well done to all those who found this move. The point is after knight h7 to play queen g3 check. By the way, in the game I had seen this move because now bg7 means queen g7. If king h8, then knight f7 mate, and if knight g5, then bishop g5. Yeah, these are all the lines that win. So my question is, what if king h7? I was not able to find a clear cut win here, but there was a very simple win. I mean, yes, I saw I can take the bishop, but after king g8, it's not clear. It's not like I finished him off. How do I finish him off? Yes, Jayesh Shah has got it right. I think it Jeet, yes. Uh, Anyone else who can find the right move here? It's just crushing move. Yep. Yeah. Now it looks easy, but this such a move is easy to miss. Queen d3 check, and now all of a sudden, if he takes here mate, if he goes here check and mate, it's over. Queen d3 is one of those moves which sometimes you miss, but it's not like uh, it's there. You need to just find it out. You need to be good at looking and finding these possibilities. So once again, this means that when you have an isolated pawn, make sure you keep your pieces active always, and this guy, you have to get him. Okay, so that's the spirit of playing against the isolated queen pawn. Okay, uh, all the positives that I have said about IQP, I must say a few negatives as well. And this position just shows it very clearly what are the disadvantages of isolated queen pawn, and you must know them. This is a typical scenario where a side with an isolated pawn has his worst nightmares. He says to himself, I don't have a knight which I can put on e5, I don't have a bishop which can attack the king, I don't have a dark squared bishop which could sacrifice, I don't have anything. I have only major pieces. This king is sitting smugly on g8, very happy, and my pawn is weak. And this is the worst situation when you have a black, when you have better piece, sort of isolated pawn, and all the pieces are exchanged. This is something to avoid. Okay. Yes, Saurav Banerjee rightly says Karpov like to play against IQP. And this is my homework for all of you. If you can find some games of Karpov against isolated queen pawn, I would be very happy for you to look at them and understand. Okay, how he plays against isolated queen pawn. He was a master playing with against this pawn. So rook b4, here came b5, a4, b takes a4, queen a3, a5, and now you will see that after queen b5 this rook is kind of tied up, this is weak, and so in the end e5 break came in. Rook e5, queen a1, you can't take the rook because rook d2 is hanging, so he had to play queen a1, queen e8, nice move, de, rook d2, and you will see that now one imbalance has shifted to another. The isolated queen pawn is gone, but the white king is still very weak. And well, black just won. Now, to finish off your opponent, can anyone tell me how do you finish off your opponent from this position? Always remember that in such positions, you must finish off your opponent clinically. Don't give him chances. Hi Swaminathan, welcome N Swaminathan. Also Gargi says her health is better, so that's good to hear. Vijeta Mahale is making fun of me, says what stops you to become a GM? I have recorded a video, so you can have a look at it. Shank says my long calculation skill is not good. Should I try reading Koto's techniques for calculation? Shank's more important is always to look one move deeper. When you're calculating, try to look one move deeper. And yes, Koto's book will help you because you will get used to the form of finding candidate moves, which is useful always. So, Ilam Parthi's got it right very quickly. Yes, anyone else? Come on, be accurate. Yes, if you could play queen d5, it's a possible move. You threatening rook d1, but I'll come back, and then you will have to again try to find a win. Try to be accurate, very accurate here. Yes, queen c5 check. Good job by Jeet Shah, Sayan Roy, Who else? All those who found the entire winning line: Sairam Sampath, Haider Yasin, Ilam Parthi. Check, King H1, check, King G1, and now comes the move Rook, sorry, King G1, and now Rook D1, winning the queen and the game. Okay, so now this was a downside of the queen pawns, isolated queen pawn, and I will just finally very quickly show you something, and I need your opinion on that. Okay, this is the position, and we have reached here. Okay, now in this position it was white to move. This was my game against Pragun Gupta. I'm black, and my opponent here played knight into d5. All those who think this is a good move, please raise your hand. No, don't raise your hand, type it down there. How many of you think this is a good move? Stehen 9000 thinks asks, what do you think about complete positional manual 1 and 2? I think it's a good book. Also, if Sarvanan is here, he had already mentioned about this, I think, in his interview. It's a good book. Okay, so is this a good move or a bad move? Can anyone help me out here? Shivam Chaudhary says no. Chanchal Ja bad move. Tejal Joshi no. Sumed Ramteke bad move. Yusuf Farid good no. No one. Is there someone who's going to say a good move? Bad move, no. Bad move, bad move, bad move. Very good. I think I'm a good teacher, yeah. It seems like that. Everyone says it's a bad move. And as Ajay Ambure says, not a good move as white has to play actively and keep pieces. Very good, very good. Aditya Gampa says this is equal to blunder in my opinion. Yeah, that's how you play when you don't know your basics sometimes. And so I took here and queen d5, and I couldn't have been happier. My queen is nicely placed. I have exchanged two pairs of pieces and the pawn is weak. Okay, wonderful. So you guys are becoming stronger and stronger by the day, and I am very very happy to see that, because yeah, it's just nice that you are able to get all these things very quickly. Now, so one position which I want to give you finally is this one. We've already seen rook e1 was played, h6 by my opponent, which was a bad move by the way in this position, a3, knight f6, and now let's come up with a plan, an attacking plan in this position. How should white continue the attack here? He wants to kind of, so what do you do? Yep, Prathamesh Divekar was right. Bad move because we have isolated pawn. We shouldn't exchange pieces. Good. Good, 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 good. Okay, here. What's a natural way to continue development for white in this position? N. Swaminathan says queen c2. Okay, possible. This is one move. What else? Tinku Saha says bishop h6, but man. Okay, take. I'm not yet sure if this is going to be a decisive attack. Queen d2, king g7. Maybe it doesn't work just as yet. Ilam Parthi, Geeta Muthu, Hema Logu. Very good, guys. Luca Ristic as well. Sayan Roy. Fantastic. Omkar Chakradev says I'll play bishop e3, queen d2 and sack. Yes, possible, but he might play rook e8, bishop f8, and then maybe it's not so strong. Oops, let me remove these arrows. Yeah. Also, if you want to sack, play bishop f4 perhaps, more active, because knight d4 is not yet a threat. There is knight d4, queen d4, bishop h7. Uh, but yes, the best way to play, and has been mentioned by many of you here, is bishop c2. And the point is, you want to play your queen to d3, and this is again a very nice attacking theme. b6, queen d3, bishop b7, and now I played bishop f4, rook e8, rook a d1, knight b8. And when your opponent is playing all these passive moves, how do you continue the attack? Mayur Gondalekar has contributed 200 Japanese yen like yesterday as well. Thanks so much, Mayur, for your kind contribution. Wonderful to see. Now, let's try to get another piece going, another piece into the attack. Yes, Abdul Kalam, you are right. Knight e5. Yes, correct. Knight e5. The point is, if you go bishop e5, he will go knight b d7. That's what his plan is. But if you go knight e5, you are actually opening up the queen to go here. Yeah, and then play this. So knight e5, knight d7, queen h3, and now he played knight f8, and now it's time to cash in. I think all of you can cash into this pretty easily. Give me not just one move, but more than one. Yeah, by the way, always keep in mind that breaks like d5 are always possible, so keep them in mind. But here there's a direct win. Telugu Chess asks me, is there any book on imbalances? I guess I have it here. I don't know where is it. Ah, yeah, here on my table. This is the book. Reassess your chess. I would recommend this heartily to anyone. You get it in the Chess Base India shop, and well, but you have to wait till the lockdown is over to get it. Yeah, bishop h6, gh6. Very good, all of you. And the right move next is queen g3, not queen h6, but check. And it's game over, because if king h8, you have knight f7, and if ng6, then you can take, and this is, oops, I should take with the bishop. Take with the bishop, take, and it's a checkmate. So this was again a very good representation of isolated queen pawn. I hope things are clear in your mind. I'm going to just give you a small summary of what we learned today. When you have, look at point number 5. An isolated pawn is a weakness because it is not supported by anyone around it. You mean any pawns? I should put it, because it is not supported not by anyone, but it's not supported by any pawns around it. Yeah, when you have an isolated pawn, avoid exchanging pieces, right? I think you've got that in your mind. If you are playing against the isolated pawn, then you must try to exchange pieces. Okay, so all of this has to be kept in mind when you're playing with an isolated pawn, and I hope that this class was useful for you. I'm going to have a look at a couple of games that have been sent to me. I have many, and I think I'll have to dedicate a class to looking at your games. But for now, let's just have a look at a game by who? Who's the next game? I think it was Santanu Bohra. I think he sent in a game. Santanu. I am not sure what I would like to show through this game, but Santanu is white, and I somehow felt, Santanu, that this move here, knight c3, is not the correct move to put the knight here. somehow the knight does belong to d2 in such positions, because after on c3 you're blocking your c pawn, and you are also, in a way, the knight has no real future in this position. So bg4, bishop e2, knight c6, bishop e3. Okay, and this is the way you are playing is a little bit passive. Okay, and I will come to a position where e6, castle, bd6, h3, you reach this position and black castle, and now the user who sent me the game, Santanu, is white, and he played a move here which is queen d2. I think it's the right time to take stock of the imbalances in the position. What's going on? So let's try to think along. What do you what do you think here? Because every position has some sort of an imbalance, and we need to make sure that we make use of those imbalances and not just keep playing random moves. Okay. Jayant Rao, yesterday you got Chessbase 15 and Mega Database. I hope you make good use of it. You have to install them separately, so please do that. Gagan Garwal says, how can I get an ebook? Well, I don't know about ebook of Reassess Your Chess, but you can get a hard copy from chessbase.in. You go to the shop, online shop, and do that. Mayuresh Date says, are you planning to cover sessions on endgames? Perhaps. I'm not sure. We still have 11, or what is it, 12 sessions left. So I think pawn structure and minor piece were really the main sort of things in the imbalances. Then we go to space, material, which are maybe one session each, and then we can go to weak squares, which might take two sessions, weak squares, open files, and then initiative, which may take another one, development, and then so by around 16, 17 sessions we should be done. And I want to give you tough positions, a bit of calculation, look at your games. So maybe we may have time for end games, I don't know. Okay, very good. Jaideep says knight e2. I like this move very much because you're thinking about imbalances. Okay, I would also consider knight b5 in such a position, because after bishop b8, let's say, I can go like a move like a4. And the point is, I want to play c3, maybe get the knight back when it is kicked, and knight c2, just connect these pawns together. I understand, Jaideep, your idea is to play c4 to open the structure, but somehow for your bishops, but it might be a bit too risky. Maybe trying for b3 with c4 could be a possible idea, because let's assume you play something like c4, even though it doesn't say right now losing pawn, uh, you lose this, still, let's say you somehow recover it like this, then still you have an isolated queen pawn and your bishops are not really active. Maybe this bishop is okay, knight e7 is a bad move, but maybe I can defend this pawn here and then try for knight e7, knight d5, and this pawn is a bit of a weakness on d4, the IQP pawn. So anyway, this was an important learning from this game, and I hope, Santanu, you will take it more carefully next time. Let's look at a game sent to us by one person from Sri Lanka, Jayavira, who played against the national champion of Sri Lanka, and he reached this position. He was white, and he says, I sacrificed a pawn with white, hoping that I will get something, and then I saw that I have nothing. Black is going to play d5 and it's going to be all trouble. So what is the good move that Jaivira came up in this position? White to move. Gargi DC said, I do not have enough money to buy Chessbase 15 and Mega Database, so I copied Chessbase 13 from my friend. Is it good? Well, I will say just one thing to this, that copying and piracy is cheating. It's nothing less, nothing more. You are some kind of a thief, Because let's imagine today you don't have money and you go to a mall and you say, I want that t-shirt, and you go inside the shop and steal that t-shirt and you come out of it and you say, yeah, I didn't have money but I really wanted that t-shirt, so you took it. Doesn't work that way. Yeah, so basically it's very important that you respect the creators, those who have made things. If you think it's too expensive, don't use it. No one is forcing you to use it. Just try to be careful when you are doing stuff. Today lives of people are dependent upon it, and sometimes, piracy is killing the creativity of people. Let's say I put in all my effort and create a wonderful course to teach you to improve at chess, and then someone just comes and copies all the videos and puts it up. All his efforts are wasted. He doesn't get any money. He's hungry. He doesn't get food, whatever. I mean, money doesn't come in, and at the end of the day, he stops making quality content because he's afraid it will be copied. So that's my reasoning, that don't indulge in piracy. It might help you short term, like, okay, you got a software or you got a product, but long term you're killing things. Okay, how many of you found the move that was played by Jayavira? No one. No one, yeah. Jayavira played a very nice move here. Remember that you are a pawn down, so imbalance is material pawn down, but you have the bishop pair. So what do you do when you have a bishop pair? Yes, a4 looks natural. There's something better, I would say. Yeah, Aditya Gampa says a4, Yuri Garcia says bishop b4, Pankaj Panchal says bishop g5, Anish Adiga h4, Mukul Raj e4, Ninay Garg, no science with Ravish, uh, d5, but that's just a free pawn. But no one has been able to find. Yeah, Ilam Parthi I think has got it. Niranjan Warrior has got it. Good. Now everyone is finding it. So the right move, as was played by Jaivira, I'm very happy to say. How old are you, Jaivira? If you are here, let me know. The point is to give up a pawn and queen b3 and use these two bishops. First of all, this bishop this way, this one could go here, and oops, not that way, this way, and this one could also go to b4 or a5, rook fc1, rook a b1, very aggressive, and some kind of a benko like play, and he went on to beat the national champion of Sri Lanka. I don't like bishop e3 move, but okay, anyway, he played rook fb1, maybe rook ab1 is better. A4, bishop c1 was a nice move. He put his bishop on this square, and the dark squares were tremendously weak. Again, the rook cliff was nice. I think this is a great game, Jai Veera. Well done. He won the game. So guys, I think we should call it a day for today. I know that you have been sending me a lot of games, and believe me, I am keeping an eye out on that. Don't worry that I'm not going to show it or something. Today we looked at two games, we are going to look at more. Uh, so please continue your work. The homework for today is to look at games by Karpov against IQP structures. Try to find out some games of Karpov, and I hope you did the homework yesterday. I received homework from a few people, and they have told me that they did the homework related to Fisher, and Ilam Parthi says my game, and by the way, Ilam Parthi has sent a game with his victory, beautiful game with a victory over Ziaur Rahman. We will look at it soon as well, Ilam Parthi. And I just want you guys to see that we are raising money for PM Cares Fund. So if any of you contributes, there's a link down below of PayU Money in the description. You can contribute whatever amount you like. All of it will be donated to PM Cares Fund. We have collected 26,912 rupees until now. So that is what it is. By the way, Jayavira is here and he says, please show the game until the end. Okay, Jayavira, let's finish off this game because you see, you have played this and he sacrifices a queen. Okay, nice. Check, king h7, bishop f6, and look at his bishops, complete monsters. And he plays king h1, knight, nice move. Proud to find this move to bring the other rook in. Very good, Jaivira. And h3, rook b8, g5, and he resigned. He's a rook now. He said, I am really proud to show this game, but I want to play this game constantly. Can you please give a tip for that? Thank you very much. Excellent. Jaivira, I'm also very proud of you. This game is excellent, and the way to continue playing such games is to constantly keep thinking about the imbalances, what's going on, how should I make use of them, and then using your calculation to apply that in your game. I think you have a very bright future. How old are you? How old are you? So yeah, Sumed, your game I have. We are going to have a look at it. Sarvanan says, well done. Thanks, Sarvanan, for being there right until the very end. And we will meet again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Tomorrow's topic is past pawns. That's the last section under pawns. So we'll look at few games of past pawns, and then we'll continue with your games, trying to understand them. Okay. Bye. See you soon. Take care.